What up, what up, what up? Real Fans Podcast.
What up?
Back at it again. Episode 34. We're here. I'm Gabe. That's Julian. Julian, what's up? Say hello to the people.
What's up? What's up, everybody? Gabe, I don't know, for the audio listeners, Gabe just went almost knocked out his mic. He's like,
I'm sorry.
Let's go.
I had to get more energy. Last week I had, a little runny nose. I was like snuffly. I'm still a little snuffy, but I got more energy today.
No, you didn't. You just look like you're about to smack your computer.
I got my show sponsor. I got my little Dr. Pepper. I'm
brought to you. Oh, I wish. Gosh, you imagine? Brought to you by. No, we got a jam-packed show today. We got a lot of topics to cover. It's going to be an interesting episode. So buckle your seats. It's probably going to be a longer one if I had to guess. JoJo is still out of town. He's up in Buffalo watching his Buffalo Bills, and then Buffalo Bills actually play Jacksonville this week. So. Yeah, you might be watching.
We'll talk about that a little later. We've been holding off on topics, but we're gonna talk about baseball going on, UFC, NHL, NBA, and we'll finish it with football. But let's talk about the World Series because it just ended last night. The Atlanta Braves won it. They've won first time since when? I don't even know.
95.
I know they won. Since 1995, all right, because they've won, being a Marlins fans, we know that the Braves are consistently, they won like 17 pennants in a row. It's some kind of record, but they never won the World Series. And this year, they actually won the World Series. They're
one of the best teams ever, best franchises ever in MLB history to win such few championships.
Yeah. And I just wanted to, I wish JoJo was here so we could finish, have some baseball discussion because Julian, I know you're not into baseball. But did you see any of it at all? A little bit of it? Did you just see what did you hear about the World Series that I can kind of look up?
I didn't. Well, I watched parts, pieces of it. I did watch the Red Sox Houston series, but I didn't really watch a whole lot of the World Series. But I did see the scoreline for all of them, and Atlanta just seemed to put a beating on them. Right? I mean. They won the World Series 7-0 at Houston. So, and it seemed to be the whole world just didn't want Houston to win because, they don't want to be proved that hold up, they could actually win it without cheating.
Yeah. And that was the weird thing about this series going into it. I like I said, I said it before on this podcast that I thought the Braves were good, but I thought their team last year was better. Their team last year was probably more deserving of going to the finals, especially with Acuna out this year. But it was a weird series. I didn't know who to root for. I didn't want to root for the Astros, obviously. Hashtag bang the trash can. And I didn't want to root. I don't know. I just,
hashtag Oscar the Grouch.
I'm freestyling here. My brain. I'm trying to think of something funny. It's not good. And I didn't want to root for the Braves because I thought the Braves would be the underdog in this series. But here's the thing about baseball. It's or any playoffs in general, especially in football, when the right team gets hot, they're hot. You know what I mean? So forget the regular series, whatever you thought of the 162 games. You got to beat teams in the series. And these two teams were probably the hottest coming out of, I would say them and the Red Sox. So I didn't know. I was very confused for who to root for. If I had to pick, I would probably pick the Braves, but then again, being a Marlins fan, Braves are a hard team because they're in a division. So, but if you look at the series as a general overall, a lot of scoring was done early. There was hitting a lot of hitting. These were two pretty good hitting teams. I thought the Astros had better pitching a little bit, but I mean the Braves won the series. They won it in 6. So. A lot of the hitting was done earlier in the earlier innings, let's say the first 4 or 5 innings. Maybe game 3, game 4, there was a low score game where it was 0-2 or 2-3. Those were the low scoring games. But I mean, the Braves came to play, man. They out hit them, especially that last game, which is stunning. It's incredible in the World Series that you can get zeroed out. And the Braves pulled it out, and I'm kind of happy for the Braves because
good pitching, hold them to shut out. I think multiple times too. I think they went 7-0 in a couple of games. So the Braves is I'm pretty excited for the city of Atlanta fans because it's been fucking a long ass time since I was a little kid. The Braves haven't won World Series, and I kind of like this parody of new teams coming in and winning the series. As far as if I stacked them up, I would probably pick the Astros.
as a better roster construction, but the Braves pulled it out, man. They got hot and they stayed hot. You know what I mean? They stay swinging the bats.
Yeah, I mean, I was rooting for the Braves because just like where I grew up, there was just a lot of Braves fans. It was a close team. I think Tampa's technically closer, but just being in the South, I think a lot of people in Jacksonville, where I grew up, have a lot of like relatives in Atlanta, like a lot of family, and they go up there and visit a lot. It's only a 4.5 hour drive. It's actually closer to Atlanta than it is Miami. So yeah, I was just rooting for him just because I know a lot of people out there that are rooting for them. Like, so yeah, and I know the Atlanta fans have been through a lot of shit. I feel like they, whether it be the Falcons, their Bulldogs, but it's a good time for Atlanta right now. I mean, you got Bulldogs ranked number 1, and now you got beat the brakes off of fucking Florida. And now you got Atlanta winning the chip. So
I was gonna say, don't forget the season. This is a season where the All-Star game moved. Remember, it moved to Colorado because of I guess legislation going on in Georgia that the MLB didn't like. So like the All-Star game was supposed to be in Atlanta, and they moved it. That was like one controversy that happened this season. Also, it came up again. The Braves chop, the cultural appropriation of the Braves chop came up as well. So those are like two, I guess, off the field controversies this season. But you know what? It's not about the chop. It's not about the All-Star game. It's about what you do in the playoffs. Congratulations to the Braves.
It's about the performance.
Yeah. Congratulations to them.
Shout out the Braves.
We'll probably bring this up again. I do want to bring JoJo into discussion.
And I'm glad they beat the shit out of the Dodgers. That's all I gotta say too.
I mean, yeah. Well, we shall move on to the next topic. Our next topic, of course, coming up this weekend, this Saturday, UFC 268. Julian, you are our resident UFC expert. What are you looking forward to in UFC 268? What's exciting you about the card?
So almost the entire card except the second fight in the main card. I mean, when I'm talking about the whole card, I mean the main card. To start off the main card, you got Justin Gaethje versus Michael Chandler, and then it's Shane Burgos versus Billy Carantillo. I don't know who those guys are. Then after that, you got Frankie Edgar versus Marlon Vera, which is going to be a good fight. Then you're going to have to see the rematch between the women's strawweight, which is Rose Namajunas and Zhang Wei Li. And then obviously you got the main event, Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington, part 2. And I'm pumped for all those are going to be super heavy striking fights. I think even though Usman is a wrestler first and foremost, that last Colby Covington fight was amazing. It was one of the best title fights I've ever seen. It went right down to the end, and then it ended up Kamaru Usman ended up winning it by TKO. And that fight was tight too, because it was like 2-2 coming into the 5th round, and this was like it was all or nothing right here. And then Usman pulled it out, and then Colby went and then beat the brakes off of Tyrod Woodley, Tyrod Woodley, and then hadn't fought again. And this is his next fight. This is a pretty long gap for him. Especially there was a long gap between Usman beating him and Woodley, because I believe something with his jaw. I think he broke his jaw or something like that. And then there was a big gap after the Woodley fight, and now he's fighting him now. This seems to be Usman's second chance to kind of clean house on the division. I mean, he's beat everybody. So the only thing you could do is bring on another guy. I mean, bring back one of the same guy, probably the guy who gave him the toughest fight. Honestly, I hope Usman wins. Because Colby Covington's he's just an annoying little bitch. Like, he's so fucking annoying. And he's a local kid too. I mean, he fought out at Miami at MMA Masters. But they both fight down here in South Florida. But God, he's fucking annoying. And Usman's he clearly looks stronger. And I think if Usman plays cards right, he should start taking him down and just out muscling him instead of standing up with him like he did last time. But
I was gonna say, I think going forward, On paper, looks like a deserving fight. I guess Covington versus Usman. Uh, Obviously, this is Usman versus Covington too. Um, on paper, it looks good. I'm not a fan of Covington. Just his antics outside. I just want to see.
I feel like he's just a wannabe McGregor. I feel like that's what he gives me. He gives me that vibe that he's trying to be McGregor, but his like American version of McGregor. And it's like, bro, you're not McGregor. Stop trying to be McGregor. Like I get he's trying to sell his fights. Like, I get that. You're trying to sell your fight. But it's just like, I personally find it just poorly done. I just feel like he just does it. Like I said, to me, he just seems like he's trying to be a McGregor. And it's like, bro, you're not McGregor. Like, McGregor's the ultimate shit talker. And McGregor commits to his shit talking. He was in a fucking wheelchair, still talking shit about fucking Poirier.
Joe Rogan was on the floor, bring the mic to his one.
No, I'm talking about after the fact. Remember, he was like, I don't know if you saw it. I think it was on Instagram, so you might have seen it. But McGregor's like on his Instagram is in literally like an electric wheelchair, like talking to Instagram, saying the reasons why he lost, how he went into the fight with him. It was just one of the most like. It was fucking hilarious because he's just trying to like come up with all these excuses, which maybe they're true. But I mean, you didn't say anything before the fight, so you have you're giving people a hard time trying to like back you. If you came into the fight, everybody knew like, oh shit, he had a fractured like bone in his foot. That would have been one thing. But it's like it just seems very just like off-putting, just seeing him talk shit after the fact and now saying all this stuff, which it probably was true, honestly. But back to the fight though. I was watching Chael Sonnen's preview on it, and he had a really good point because he said this fight's really going to come down to motivation and just like absolute just drive. Because I mean, these guys are pretty evenly matched. They're like we saw in the last fight. And it's going to come down to like who's more hungry. And I kind of agree with Chael there. Like it really is. It's like, like the old adage where they always say like with boxers, you have a hard time getting up in the morning out of silk sheets or some shit like that. And obviously Colby has not won the championship before. Usman has defended it, I believe, 4 times. And Usman has cleaned house in the entire division, and it's kind of hard to have that, like what Chael was saying, and I could see that. Like you kind of have hard time gaining motivation when you've kind of done it all. Like you've done it, you completed your task. And Covington, he's not there yet. So, but then again, I don't necessarily. Usman doesn't come off like the type of person where he just kind of lets it go like McGregor did. Like he seems like no matter what, his goal is to stay on top, and his goal is to be one of the best ever and to represent his country. And I think that motivates him more so than like trying to hold on to his championship or whatever it is. So, but it's going to be a really interesting fight. I still think I'll take Usman out of the two. But that's just because I'm kind of a Usman fan, and I just find Covington annoying. But either way, I think it's going to be a really good fight. Regardless.
Yeah, I think I'm rooting for Usman as well. Usman already fought twice this year. He fought Jorge Masvidal in April and Gilbert Burns in February. So, and it's been like the last time that Covington fought was September 2020. So, against
and he beat a dying Woodley.
He beat a dead horse of Tyrone.
He beat it like he beat a guy who lost to Jake Paul. So he beat a guy who lost to Jake Paul.
So as far as whoever season in fighting shape, fought most recently, Usman definitely has the edge. We'll see. I mean, but you can say Covington had rest. You never know. So what is your final prediction for the fight? How do you have it winning it? Is it going all the way? You have it. What do you got?
I think it goes to decision, if I had to guess, because I think we're going to see the same result. I think it either goes to decision or it ends right at the end, just like the last fight. But it's definitely going to 5 rounds. And I think it's going to go 2-2. Like I really do. The only thing I will say is, like you said, like Usman has fought more recently since the first time they fought. And we could arguably say that Usman has gotten better since the Covington fight, which I think he has. I mean, we saw it in the Masvidal fight. Like, Usman looked like he really amped up his striking ability and his power I mean, he's always had his power, obviously, but like mixing his power with his striking ability. And then obviously he's a world-class wrestler. Usman has gotten better, and we've seen him get better. Covington, we haven't necessarily seen him get, not that he was ever bad, but we haven't seen him get better from the fight. Like you said, his only other fight was he beat up a dying Tyron Woodley. So who's knows? I mean, then again, he's coming out of American Top Team. It's a world-class gym over here in South Florida. So he trains with some of the highest level athletes on the planet. But just because of that alone, I mean, just the more fights and seeing Usman progressively get better, which is just scary to think. I still have Usman winning, but I do think it's still going to be a close fight, and I think it'll go to decision with Usman with the split.
All right, I got a knockout second round.
Knockout second round by Usman.
Knockout second.
All right, and then briefly, I just want to talk about the Rose Namajunas Zhang Weili fight. That fight is going to be fucking crazy. It's going to be so good. It's literally, the odds are pretty even right now. minus 115 Rose Namajunas, minus 105 Zhang Weili. Super close fight. Looks like they have Zhang Weili as the favorite. Because she did get caught that last fight. She got caught, but this is going to be a super fast, high firing fight. And I'm going down this fight right here. That Rose Namajunas Zhang Weili fight is going to be the greatest fight of the year. I'm calling it. That's going to be the best fight of the year. That shit's going to be fire.
We look forward to it this Saturday going on UFC. As we move on to the next topic, I just want to bring up, because we haven't talked about it at all, because NHL season is going on. It started, and the Panthers are hot. The Florida Panthers are hot. They're one of the hottest teams in the NHL.
They are the hottest team in the NHL.
Julian, what have you seen from the Panthers? I know you're probably going to a couple games. What have you seen from the Panthers? How do you feel about the season going forward? Yeah,
I'm actually going to the game tonight versus the Washington Capitals. I actually get to see Ovechkin in person for the first time. That's going to be pretty cool. NHL great, probably going to be the greatest ever, next to Gretzky. But yeah, the Panthers are on fire. They're playing super well, even with their coach resigning after that whole scandal with the kid diddling that they did back in Chicago. But yeah, this is going to be my second game tonight. The first game they played the Arizona Coyotes. They blew them out. But yeah, they look really good. Obviously, they signed Barkov to a big extension this offseason. I think 8 years, $87 million. The team is stacked, man. You got a lot of players on that team, and anybody can score on that team, and they look really good offensively. Like, the way they create chances for their team is just, it's really good. And I think this year, like, they had a great season last year. They were one of the top teams in the league record-wise. They not blown out, but they lost to the Lightning in the first round of the playoffs. But I think they can redeem themselves this year. I think they definitely make it farther than round one. I think they should be pushing for the Stanley Cup. I expect nothing less. Like, honestly, that team has gotten nothing, but they've just gotten better. Obviously, you lost your goalie to the expansion draft, who went to Seattle. But they should progress and they should get better. And I guess I'm excited. This is the first time, like, I'm kind of like really following hockey and like really watching it from the beginning. And because I never really had a hockey team growing up, and now that I've moved down here, I kind of have like a hockey team now. So somebody to root for, and they end up being really fucking good. So let's go. It's Panther season to take, man.
Yeah, I think going into the season, there's a lot of high expectations. I too have been waiting for an exciting hockey team. Last time I remember when I was a little kid, back mid '90s, when the Panthers were good and they were making a wild card run. So that's like the most, but like, coming into this season, obviously they played the Stanley Cup champions the first round, and that was real. It's like kind of the underdog facing the champ first round. That was our championship to play, and it was a tough series. Like I think last year we got outplayed in the playoffs, but the Panthers are really good. Like everybody knew, I knew that the Panthers were really good, but I think now nationally people are starting to see that, like, yo, the Panthers are legit on fire. I love this new rivalry that we're making against Tampa Bay, the Tampa Bay Lightning, and they made a couple additions to some veterans from other teams, but I do like the lines that they're rolling out. You know what I mean? Barkov, like you said, signed a new contract. He's always been an exciting player. I thought last year he was a little bit underwhelming. I thought that Huberdeau was a better player than him last year, but they are on fire. If I'm looking at the stats, the standings, they are. Let me see. Where is he?
They're number one in the entire league. They're 8-0-1. Oh yeah, never mind. The Hurricanes.
Carolina's up on 1, but their point differential is plus 18. I mean, Carolina has plus 22, but they're plus 18, and nobody's really close to them. The next team is probably.
Yeah, they're second in the league. At the time when I first saw it, they were the number 1, but Hurricanes have surpassed them. But they haven't even actually lost. They had an overtime loss, so you get a point out of that. But yeah, like you said, Huberdeau and Barkov, like they're balling, man. They're playing super well.
And like you said, they're about to play the Washington Capitals. They're up there. The Washington Capitals are number 4. They're 5-1. And they have a plus 10 differential. So that's these are 2 top teams in the East that they're going to play tonight that you're going to go to. So that should be an exciting game. But the Panthers are on fire. I love their lines. Barkov is playing better. The 2 top best scorers on the team are Huberdeau and Barkov. Even Ekblad. Ekblad surprisingly has 9 points, and he's a defensive man. But I guess he's a scoring defensive man. So they're really good. I'm very excited for this season. I just hope, obviously going into the season, this is very early on. You hope that, people can get through some injuries, seasonal injuries, so they can get all the way to the playoffs. But they should be exciting. I'm excited, for them. And this should be a really good season. We're competitive. The Panthers are back.
And we gotta hope that they back. The Panthers are back. And the thing too is we gotta hope that like they continue going into the playoffs, because like NHL has by far the most, up there with NFL, is one of the most thrilling, probably more thrilling than NFL playoffs, because it is truly like when the playoffs start for the NHL, anybody can win. The NHL has proven time and time again that it is a absolute open competition when it comes to the playoffs. Like you see number 8 seeds beat 1, 7 beats 2, like, and it's like even last year. I mean, I forgot I think the Panthers were 3rd, Tampa Bay was 6 or something like that. I don't remember the exact, or 4 and 5. And they upset us. So it's the only thing I can hope for. You have a great regular season, make the playoffs, but man, just keep that consistency going to in the playoffs, because like how often do you see teams with the best records in the league end up actually winning the Stanley Cup? And I really hope that they can actually make it deep, and they're a championship contender by far. Like they should win. I want to go to a parade, goddammit. I want to go to
a parade. Even if it's in Broward,
I want to go to a goddamn parade. But
I'll definitely be following the Panthers. Like I said, they're only bested by 1 team in point differential, number 2 in the East. Should be exciting. I hope you have a fun night tonight. We'll hope next time we do the podcast, I hope you come back and give us your hot Panther takes.
Got club seats, and this is the second time I get to have club seats. Club seats are fucking awesome. Like they're awesome.
Big baller over there.
And I was telling Gabe before the show, the best thing about club seats, one of the things you never think about, the best thing is the bathroom. You have your own bathroom. Like it's the best fucking thing. Oh man.
All right, that's it for NHL. We'll be watching that, bringing more information as it comes in, as the season goes on. But again, very early. We're only like 6-7 games in. So I want to move it on to NBA, because the NBA season started. We really haven't talked any NBA. And just as hot as the Florida Panthers are, the Miami Heat is on fire. Julian, Have you watched any basketball? Do you have any takes from the NBA season? I know you don't really like basketball. You don't like it till the playoffs, but have you heard anything? What's going on in the NBA in your NBA circle?
I see Tyler Hero's coming back to life. It seems to be he is awakened from the dead. It seems like he was gone that entire sophomore season, but he's playing really well, which is awesome. Which is awesome to hear that you're not having to worry about replacing him. He's now supplementing the rest of the team after the acquisitions that you already made, which is great. That was the one thing I was worried about, because it's like, okay, obviously if he ends up not being that good and he ends up just falling off and being kind of average, then it's like, whatever. I mean, you still made your acquisitions over the offseason. But if he was to play well into his form like he did in the playoffs 2 years ago, then you got a really dangerous team. And everything seems to be clicking for the Heat. The Heat look to be really good. They look to actually be contenders this year, definitely making the playoffs, and should, in my opinion, be a top 3 team in the East. I expect nothing less. I think it should be the Bucks, Nets, and Heat. And if the Sixers outplay us, like that's an L. That's an L on the regular season. If the Sixers have a better record than us.
Yeah, and we kind of saw this going into the season. I was very cautious about going to the season with the acquisition of Kyle Lowry, but since the preseason and the season started, the Miami Heat are one of the best defensive teams overall. I think they were like number 1. I forget what stats, but they were number 1 and like ranked number 4, and as far as one of the top defenses, and that's really that's surprising to me, I guess, because a lot of the slack from Kyle Lowry, he don't play defense. He's a great, exciting player. He's a great facilitator, and he doesn't play defense. But with the construction team as it is now, you mentioned Tyler Hero. They got him coming off the bench, even though he's playing like 30, 40 minutes. He's playing starter minutes. He's still coming off the bench, and I think that's his perfect role for him, because. Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, those are like the 3 main guys that they run the offense through, and I feel like that's a little too cluttered for Tyler Hero to play within that. He's got to play within the roles of those 3 guys, those 3 main guys, because they, those are the big names. But Tyler Hero coming off the bench playing the second team, he can freestyle out there. He can be the main dog, and he can eat. Against the second team defenses when the other guys are resting. So I think that's a perfect role for him. I think he's in the running for freaking 6th man of the year. And he could be in the running. I'm not, you know what? Here's a hot take. He could be in the running for MVP coming off the bench. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Is there MVP? I'm pretty sure MVP coming off the bench is just 6th man of the year.
Listen, he's gonna.
I'm pretty sure it's the same or more. Look, he's
more in the running. He's more in the running for MVP than Jimmy Butler. And I just want to mention before you bring it in. This is a perfect, because we saw tired Jimmy in the bubble. Fucking exhausted, bent over. Everybody knows that picture of him bent over because he fucking put the team on his back. And I don't think that's the role for Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler, he can turn it on. He can. But he's not primarily an offensive player. He's a great he's not like a closer guy. Like we saw him try to close, and he could do it, but that's not his main role. He's not like one of these guys like Kevin Durant or
he's a number 1 if he has a good supporting cast around him. He's not enough to carry a team. He's a very good player, one of the best in the league, but he's not up there with KD and like
Anthony
Giannis and Anthony Davis or LeBron in his prime. Like he's not there, but I still think he's a number 1. He's still a number 1 option for the team, but he needs a supporting cast. He's just one of those players you just need to like Anthony, like Carmelo Anthony in his prime. Like Carmelo Anthony needed that supporting cast.
I'm not trying to slander Jimmy Butler. He's a great player. I think he's like a top 15 player. But when I think Jimmy Butler, I think defense first. He's a two-way player. He plays on both sides, but I think him as defense first. And the way he plays, his style of game is to fucking crash the boards. He puts his neck on the fucking rim, and he's always going to try to run through you. And a lot of his success last year was getting foul calls, getting blocking calls. So, but now that there's other supporting cast around him, now he can kind of relax and he can just play his game, his way. And, a lot going into the season, I always thought they were very good, but, Tyler Hero coming on second team. He can freestyle. He can do his own thing on the second team. Bam Adebayo, he's got to make steps forwards, and I think he's doing that. Every last year, the last couple of years, we've been asking, Bam Adebayo got to improve, Tyler Hero got to improve, and I think we're seeing those steps. We're seeing those steps forward where Tyler Hero's getting more serious, and he's fucking balling out. And I think Bam Adebayo is taking that next step of being that closer guy, being the offensive guy to close games on that first team. So, this is an exciting time for the Miami Heat. I'm a little bit surprised. I thought they were a good team, but it's a little bit, I think I saw a tweet. Stan Van Gundy tweeted that the Eastern Conference has beat the Western Conference like 18-9. So, just pointing out that the East got better. And like you said, this should be a top team. I thought of last year
they're tied for first.
Team.
They're tied for first in the league. They're first in the East by they're 6-1 versus Sixers are 6-2. But yeah, they're tied. They're tied for the first in the league. And going back to Tyler Hero real quick, I think it's good for him too with these acquisitions with Kyle Lowry specifically. I think it takes the pressure off of him to kind of be a part of the big three for the Heat. I think he will always. Well, who knows? I mean, he's still young. He's still really young. But as of right now, I don't think he was necessarily ready to be put out there as like, all right, be a part of our big three, be one of our main contributors for the team last year. And I think that's why you saw a decline. I think maybe there's just this pressure about him that he just couldn't handle it at the moment. But I think now bringing in Kyle Lowry and PJ Tucker and like other guys, I think it's allowing him to kind of relax and not feel like he has to like be number two to Jimmy Butler. And sometimes players just perform better like that. Who's to say that after a couple years, once he gets older and becomes a more seasoned vet, then maybe he can step in and be like a part of a big three. But I think currently he's just not there yet. And but you're seeing him now, like you said, like when the starting lineup gets off, he's a great second team guy, like a really, really good second team guy who should be like just a perfect six man. Like he really is.
Yeah, so we shall see, man. I mean, hopefully these guys stay healthy. Like again, this is very early in the season, in the NBA season. I don't know a lot about the Western teams, but if this team stays healthy, they should be a top contender in the East. I would love to
the West right now is tied with Golden State and Utah. Yeah.
And hopefully we can get JoJo in here talking about his Lakers, his old ass Lakers. They're pretty good.
His bandwagoning old ass Lakers that he just bandwagons.
We'll get him in here to talk about the West and what he's seen. But NBA seems exciting, man. This year has been going pretty good so far. And we'll keep up with it, man, as the season goes along.
And I did want to mention to Gabe, I know he doesn't care, but Inter Miami, our MLS team, has officially been knocked out of the playoff race. Just fell short. A lot of issues. Not even go into it's a lot, but
wait! Hold on. Yeah. Just breaking news. Water is wet.
Oh shit!
Wow, water is wet, y'all.
Anyways, they're about to go into a really exciting offseason. I'm actually really excited for the offseason. There's a lot of names being thrown out there out of Brazil. A lot of young names. It looks like we're about to completely erase the roster with all these old motherfuckers. Get rid of them. If you're over 30, get the fuck out of here. I don't give a fuck who you are. If you're over 30, get the fuck out. And we're about to refill this roster with a bunch of our second team guys from Fort Lauderdale CF. They're about to be called up to the first team. And we're looking at some guys to potentially put on our designated player list from Brazil. These two guys from Brazil, and then they're talking about another guy from Sweden. So there's a lot of it's about that rumor season right now for MLS.
Listen, you call me when Messi is in Miami, okay? Or excuse me, when Messi is in Fort Lauderdale, you tell me, I'll start watching the games.
Right? Wow,
this is not. That's all I want to hear. Messi.
You're one of those guys. You just want old people in here with names.
Yeah, one of the crazy thing is like they can easily get anybody. I think I've heard Davis Hands talk about this. Everybody wanted to play for the Marlins. He always had the options of getting players but these were like players at the end of their career. Maybe they want to be close to their family because a lot of people live in Miami and South Florida, so they all want to move down and play in Miami for baseball. But what I'm saying is, for soccer, like you can get anybody. South Florida is a fun place, especially if you get these secondary players. Maybe they're at the second stage, maybe late tier of their career. It's easy to get these name players, these kind of
Messi has an apartment here, a condo here. He has multiple properties here in South Florida. There's a lot of ties with him to come to. If he was to come to MLS, I can't imagine him going anywhere else other than Inter Miami. Obviously, it's Messi. I would take him, but I think MLS recently has been doing a good job to kind of get rid of that stain of being a retirement league and getting these old European guys coming in. I think MLS has done a great job of recruiting really young talent from South America, which is what we tried to do with this one guy, but failed. But it looks like we're going to continue to do that with this new coaching staff. Like I said, young guys from Brazil and Argentina, Chile. I think that's the route that they should be going. And I think it is really good. I think it makes for better quality and just gets rid of that stain and that stigma of being like, oh, fucking so-and-so is going to come over here and light it up. And it's just like, it's not good for the league. And, but if, like you said, if it's a Messi or if it's a Ronaldo, you open up that checkbook and you do whatever you can to get them over here. But
yeah, and it makes it exciting too for away games, not just home games. Like obviously you want your home base, your home fans to support the team, buy tickets, buy shirts and shit. But also, you want that traveling circus too. When they go to other teams, like people are going to want to see, a Messi. They're going to want to see whoever.
I mean, we kind of had that with the. I know you don't really follow soccer much, but there's one of our big name players, that our highest paid player. His name's Gonzalo Higuain. He played for. Higuain. Yeah, he's a part of the. Yeah. He plays for Inter Miami, him and his brother. His brother actually just announced his retirement a couple days ago and played his final game to a sold-out crowd at Dry Pink Stadium. So the final home game of the season was last week, sold out. It was a huge farewell to his brother, who was an MLS legend. His brother's an MLS legend, but obviously, Gonzalo, he played in Real Madrid. He played for Argentina in the 2014 World Cup. But he's just fucking washed like nobody's business. He's so fucking washed. And then another player that's on our team now, Blaise Matuidi, who is completely fucking washed. He was a part of the World Cup 2019 France team that won. He was part of that team, but he's fucking old and washed and has no legs. And it's to me, I'd rather see young guys from South America or even here in the States and Central America make a name for themselves, do something with themselves, and be kind of work our way to that point. And then once you get that talent level up and you get more fans and everything, then you try to retain those players who are already young and have already gone, instead of losing them to Europe. Because the thing is, you're not gaining anything from having these old motherfuckers come here, play for a year or two, and then they're just gone. You got nothing. You don't really get anything out of that.
No. I think you definitely got to make the roster exciting, especially with a new team. There are soccer fans in Miami, and obviously they definitely show support. Their support section is always lit.
It's always crazy.
Yeah. But you want to make it exciting, especially because Miami is a shit. There's a bunch of distractions in Miami, and people will find other things to do if you don't have an exciting team or something to come watch. So that's why I say you got to have a Messi or something like that, because people are not going to come out.
We're top 5 in attendance this year. We were really good in attendance. I think we're going to continue that. There's just South Florida is such a hotbed for soccer. There's so many people from Latin America and even people that are American that are from here. There's such a nice talent pool here, and there's such a big fan base. And I think we'll continue to see success. I mean, obviously having such a high profile name like David Beckham as our owner, you're going to bring in some higher quality talent. People are going to want to come in there, maybe not so late in their career. Maybe you can get people they don't have to be 37 or anything, but 27 or anything, but get them in maybe their early 30s where they still got years left. I think MLS is kind of in that direction. Obviously you get the talent level up. People are going to want to come over here, get more fans. You're going to start making more money and then being able to pay those higher contracts that they're able to pay in Europe. And I think MLS is just, to me personally, I'm not a huge European soccer fan. I kind of find it a little boring. I know it's a big stereotype for soccer, but I kind of find I find MLS way more exciting personally. I know it's not as good. I know the quality's not as good, but I do think here in the States, we play a more physical game, a physical and more athletic game than they do in Europe, versus in Europe, they play a little bit more technical. Like, I can see the quality difference, but I still find MLS more enjoyable. Plus, it's just nice to have an actual home team. It's hard to root for somebody like 7 hours away across the ocean.
Well, that is more than enough conversation I've had about the Fort Lauderdale Football Club. I didn't think I'd be talking so much about him, but we'll see, man. If they make some transitions, they may, make some buzz, make some excitement around the team. We'll definitely bring it to you.
Did you ever check out the Austin team?
Austin FC, no. I know they were kind of one of the worst teams.
They are the worst team. Well, they're second worst, but it was their first season. I mean, they just expanded this year, so gotta give them time.
So I mean, I'm gonna go to games when
dude, I watched it on TV. Those games look electric. Like the Austin fan base. I mean, obviously it's their first professional sports team. It looks fucking crazy. Like those guys, like Matthew McConaughey and shit popping out. Like it looks intense. Like there's a huge soccer fan base over there. I'm glad to see Austin have a team. But yeah, anyways.
I've been around the stadium. It's a nice little area. I've been to a couple of breweries down by there, but I never just.
Oh, it's like a whole section.
Yeah, there's on that little strip of land there, but we'll see. I definitely go.
If Miami plays there next year, pull up.
Yeah, I will. All right, so that's it for MLS. A quick MLS one. We didn't have that on the slate, but we did it anyways. You got what you didn't want. Anyways, let's move on. Let's move on to NFL season. We had a big week. Last week, a couple games. Julie, what do you want to bring up from the NFL week the past week?
Obviously, one of the biggest, let's say, football news, not outside of football news. Biggest football news was Von Miller getting traded to the Rams. Rams gave up a second and a third round pick in this upcoming draft to bring Von Miller over to the already deadly Rams defense to join Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey and the boys to continue to cement themselves as a Super Bowl contender this season. And Gabe, was this a good trade for the Rams? Do you think it will actually benefit them? Do you think Von Miller is still the same Von Miller? Real quick, I do think he's been playing pretty well this season. But the Rams continue to go on this trend of just completely offloading their picks and completely going all in on free agents and veterans.
Von Miller is washed. He's the worst player to end up. What are you talking about? Of course, this is fucking excellent. This is fantastic. Like, who would have thought Von Miller would have been going to the fucking Rams? Listen, I knew a couple years that the Rams were fucking going all in. Obviously, they made a big trade last year, getting Matt Stafford from the Lions, trading over. You signed freaking Aaron Donald. You signed Ramsey. Defensively they're going to be solid. And this is just fucking like they're making a fucking all-star team on fucking defense. They should be fucking amazing.
Bro, they got no picks until like round 4.
Listen,
for like 2 years, for like 2 or 3 years, they have like no picks.
Who cares when you're the champs? And when I think of,
but what if they're not? What if they're not the champs? What if they fail and bust? Now how the fuck are you gonna rebuild? It's all fucking gone. Like,
I don't know how they can keep all these guys. I don't know how they're gonna make the money work and keep all these guys.
That's another question too. How the hell are you gonna This ain't Tampa. It's not like it's Tampa where you won a championship and you can convince people to rerun it back. The Rams haven't done it yet, so.
But they got a really good team. I think of them as a defensive team first, even though their offense is playing amazing. You know what I mean? Their offense is playing really well. But I think of it as a defensive team first, and just adding Von Miller is, that's like, whoa. It's like, you thought that the Rams were good, you know what I mean? Now they add another great defensive piece.
Oh, yeah. Von Miller is just solid. And this is a plus for Von Miller because all what's going to happen to Von Miller is he's going to get freed up more. Because when Chubb got injured over in Denver, obviously he's going to start getting more attention. But now that you have Aaron Donald in the middle, and you still got Fowler on the other end, and now you have Von Miller on that end, it's just going to free up Von Miller to just absolutely fucking eat. He's going to, I think he's going to do really well. You're going to see his sack numbers skyrocket from what we saw from what he would have had in Denver. Denver defense is still really good, obviously. Denver lacks just they lack some weapons. They lack a solid quarterback who can really run up the score. Teddy Bridgewater's great, but Teddy Bridgewater's just a really good backup. I mean, let's just be honest. He's a really good backup. That's all he is. In a division where you have Derek Carr, Justin Herbert, and Patrick Mahomes, Teddy Bridgewater's just not going to do it for you, and they have to do something. They need to either bring in a rookie or go after a big-time free agent. Looks like it might be leaning more towards the rookie with the way the season is going. It might be a middle of the draft pecking order type of team. They might go like 8 and 9, 9 and 8, whatever like that. But as for go back to the Rams, like, man, yeah, they're really, like I said, it's one of those where it's like you're going all in, and if it fails, it's going to be bad. I don't think it will. I think there's just too much talent on that team. But man, if it does, it's going to be rough.
And going forward, the Rams have a pretty tough schedule. They're going to play the Titans. They're going to play the 49ers, Green Bay, Arizona, Minnesota, or at Minnesota, at Baltimore. So they got a tough schedule to hold. This season's not going to be easy, and just adding that padding your defense like that is going to be, it's going to do wonders for them going forward this season. I expect them. I still think they're favorites. They were favorites before this trade. I still think they're favorites. To win. They
did lose against Arizona.
They did lose to Arizona, 37-20. But they can run it back, man. This time is going to be tougher because they
should split. Yeah, they should split.
But it's at Arizona. So that's tough. So.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, and the Green Bay got out there with the skin of their teeth. Like, so it's like.
We'll see, man. I think the Rams are a good team, man.
NFC's tough, dude. I mean, I feel like NFL these past couple seasons have gotten so good with the competition in the top half of the league. Like, I mean, it is. I couldn't tell you who's going to the Super Bowl. I really couldn't. Like I could kind of tell you last year that the Chiefs are probably going to run it back, but NFC was wide open. This year, I have no idea. Like. Because obviously the Bills are the favorites to probably come out of the AFC, but even then, I still think somebody can take them down. I don't necessarily think they're completely like guaranteed in, and the NFC is. I mean, we just saw Green Bay beat Arizona, so it's wide fucking open. Like it's wide open. I mean, you got Arizona. New Orleans seems to be a team who just finds a way to win. Tampa, Los Angeles, like. Green Bay, you have a really good, and I'm missing Cowboys. We'll see with the fucking Cowboys, but it's, I think this is the Rams seeing how the rest of the NFC teams are playing is like kind of put them in a corner where it's like, all right, we thought we did enough this offseason. We need to do even more. And I'm not surprised that maybe Von Miller is getting shopped anyways, like by the Broncos. I think Von Miller's a great player, but I can see with the position where the Broncos are at, I can see them shopping him. You know what I mean? So I think it worked out for both. I think it was just a deal that the Denver just couldn't pass up. I mean, a second and a third rounder. How long has Von Miller been in the league? Like,
he's been in there for a minute. I know he had.
It's been a while. Like what, 7 years now? Like
yeah. But yeah, it should be good for the Rams. It should have had a good team going forward. Like I said, they have a tough schedule, so we shall see. We'll keep.
He's 32, so yeah. he's
getting up there.
Wasn't he there during the Tom Brady Tebow? Yeah, 2011. Yeah, okay. I would say he was there during the Tebow year. Yeah. So I mean, he was at Denver for 10 years. He's going into this is his 10th season. So yeah, man.
So yeah. Let's transition over to the Cleveland Browns because they had some country over this past weekend. Can you update us on the Cleveland Browns? What went on this past weekend?
Well, all I know is Odell Beckham Sr. said that Odell Beckham Jr. has to get the fuck out of Cleveland because Baker ain't throwing him the ball. Apparently.
I think I saw this. This was going on. I think his dad. Somebody posted. I don't know if his dad posted. I saw some video of just like clips of Odell being open and Baker not looking towards his side of the field.
His dad put up like a clip on Instagram or Twitter, whatever it was. He put a clip up there showing Odell wide open and Baker just doesn't throw him the ball. And then somebody commented underneath saying this whole reason about how like Baker won't throw him the ball and all this other thing, like Odell just should leave. And then his dad replies to that comment saying like this green check marks. Yeah. And maybe there is something to that. I don't think Baker's doing it on purpose. I do think with Odell missing part of the season last year, obviously the Browns kind of went on a run when Odell got hurt. Maybe there's just a lack of chemistry there because at the end of the day, it's like, why would Baker purposely sabotage Odell when Odell's your number one weapon and you got a contract year coming up where you want to make a shit ton of money? And it's like, if you want to make 150 plus, throw him the fucking ball. It's not like he's got a set up contract. Like, there's a big decision for Cleveland to make. Like, how much they're going to pay Baker if they even want Baker. So I think he's clearly not doing it on purpose. I think there's just maybe a lack of chemistry there. And I wouldn't be surprised if Odell hasn't said anything, but I wouldn't be surprised just being annoyed. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I could see, I can't blame him for being mad. I mean, if you're open and your quarterback's not throwing it to you, that quarterback directly dictates what your career will look like for that season and what your stats look like. So I don't blame him for being upset, but yeah, I can see him getting. I don't think I can see him getting traded. I can see him getting some. I can see Cleveland moving him in the offseason. I could totally see that happening.
Because we know that Odell Beckham Jr. was really good in New York with the Giants, and so when he got traded to the Browns, which seemed like they were a couple players away, it was an exciting transaction, but we really haven't seen chemistry, especially last year he got hurt. And we saw Landry blow up, and Landry.
Now he doesn't have nearly the same chemistry like he has with Landry, and I think it has nothing to do with either one of them. It could just be just chemistry, man. It might not just work. They don't click. They don't understand each other enough. Like, who knows?
Yeah, and that's the weird thing because Baker Mayfield always he had success with Landry, had chemistry with Landry, and we're like, oh, you add a fucking another star, primary receiver, then both these guys are gonna blow up. And we just never ever seen that. Last year, because of injury, but we never seen, even when he was healthy, we never seen, Odell Beckham take that next step and being as exciting as he was with the Giants. And it is kind of weird. I think a lot of it's got to put a lot of it on Baker because Baker has been played hurt a lot, and he just doesn't like talking about like how hurt he is, especially now we know he has that shoulder, his non-throwing arm, he has that latent shoulder. Yeah, fracture and a latent tear in that non-throwing shoulder. And he's had to deal with stuff like that with groin, with different injuries, and he's played through them. He doesn't really, he doesn't glorify. He just kind of stays quiet and moves on. But I can see the argument of like, you're coming up on this contract and you want to be paid well, especially for a top player like OBJ. Which I think if he left, like any other team would sign him right away.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You want that exciting element. He is an exciting player.
He takes the top off the field. Yeah. I mean, he takes the top. He takes the top off. Like he's fast. Anybody
would be willing to sign him. I don't know how happy he is in Cleveland because he did get traded to Cleveland. He didn't sign wasn't a free agent when he signed with Cleveland.
I'm not sure.
I can't remember because, either way, like when you have a big contract and you want to get paid, you want to show what they're paying for. So I can see both sides of it. I think a lot of it you got to put on Baker, definitely, like you said, because the quarterback dictates how successful you are. How you can't catch anything that's not thrown to you. So, and I don't know. Like I said, I'm down on the Browns this year in general, and with Baker being hurt, I'm not very high on them anymore, especially after this past week. I don't.
Yeah, it was a trade, by the way.
It was a trade. Okay.
I couldn't remember either. It was a couple years ago.
I forgot what they traded for, but it was a trade. So, but I think anybody would sign OBJ. And it's kind of like I can see both sides on this.
They traded a first rounder and a third rounder.
Okay.
Oh, and Jabril Peppers.
Jabril Peppers. What's it, Carolina? I don't know. So yeah, Browns going forward. They do have a tough. Their last couple games on their schedule is, I mean, they got to play Baltimore, they got to play Las Vegas, they got to play Green Bay. They're you know.
I was never sold on Cleveland, like even last year, like because and it's not because I'm just like, oh, I'm stuck in like, well, the Cleveland Browns suck. They've always sucked. They're not that good. It's not because of that. It's because like if you look at their record last year and who they beat, they had a really easy schedule, and they're a talented team. Do I think they're a contender? No, I don't. I don't think they're contender. I don't even think they can win their division. I think they can get second in their division. But especially with the way Cincinnati, I mean, besides the fact that Cincinnati lost to the Jets out of this incredible upset by this random backup, they I mean, what, they beat the Steelers last year in the wild card? Like, that's nothing. I mean, now we're starting to realize the Steelers ain't really nothing crazy. I mean, that's virtually the same team as it was last year. And I felt that whole way coming into it. It's like they didn't really beat anybody tough to have the record that they did last year. And now you're starting to see that they have a lot tougher schedule. And they're not playing well, whether it be Baker's injury or what. It doesn't seem like they're beating good teams.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, People Jones seems to be playing well.
I mean, they got smoked by Arizona, and like,
I'm not very high on them. And hopefully the change is over. Maybe, coming into next week. But like I said, they have a pretty tough schedule going forward. I don't see them making it like they did last year. So that's it for the Browns. Jarvis Landry. Hope you get your balls that you deserve, so your dad can stay off Twitter, Instagram, or whatever. I think he was dismissed. Odell. Sorry, I think he was dismissed from practice or something, or I don't know if he was dismissed. He was excused from practice or something. That was the most recent.
I do not know.
So we'll see going forward. We want to talk about Tennessee Titans.
Yeah. So they took a fucking big hit. The Titans, they lost Derrick Henry. He's likely out for the season and possibly able to return for the postseason if they were to make the postseason. To replace Derrick Henry as their workhorse, they are bringing in the legendary Adrian Peterson. They brought in another 2,000-yard rusher. And granted, when he ran his 2,000 yards, that was about 10 years ago. So I remember that season. It was an incredible season. He was so close to breaking the record. Man, that's when they had Christian Ponder on that team. That guy didn't even throw the ball once because he was so bad. But yeah, Gabe, what do you think of this? What do you think of this pickup? And do you think Tennessee, they're still the leaders in the division. They are currently 6-2. Do you think they can hold up this form? Mind you, Derrick Henry made up for 79% of their total offense. And now you're losing virtually 79% of your total offense.
Well, that's what I want to bring.
With a team that doesn't have a strong defense.
This is kind of changes their identity, like you said. I always thought of them as a run first team, and they run the ball through Derrick Henry, and without him being on the field, because he's just physically dominant, he looks different than anybody else on the field, and he's probably.
I say that he single-handedly revived Ryan Tannehill's career.
Yeah, and so now with him out, with this crazy kind of freak injury, now you're gonna see how good Ryan Tannehill really is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now he has to rely on his offense. Now,
isn't that funny? Now you got to rely on your quarterback. Now you're for a 6-2 team. Like, you know what I mean?
And it's gonna be tough because Julio Jones was out last week with a hamstring. Him and Brown had hamstrings since the beginning of the season, but Julio Jones was out. He's questionable for this week going forward. So it seems like their only offensive option seems to be AJ Brown. And they had a lot of
Adrian Peterson, bro.
And Adrian Peterson now. So we'll see. Adrian Peterson, while he was in the league, I don't know where he's been and what he's been doing, but he has been known like be one of the strongest guys, one of the most,
Last year he
physical
played at Detroit.
in Detroit. So he's a strong guy.
Good games too.
I haven't seen him run in a while. I don't know how fast he still is, but definitely, he's going to be welcome. We'll see how well Ryan Tannehill does without him. Like I said, I think of him as a run first team, and this is going to change their identity. So we'll see how actually good that line is, how good their receivers are, and see if they can string together some wins going forward.
Yeah, this is a true testament to see how good this is going to be a testament to see how good Ryan Tannehill is, because like I said, I mean, anybody can look good if you're just pounding the rock and then throwing a play action every once in a while, and then it's like 50 yards on the field. Not to take anything away from Tannehill or the way they run that offense, because obviously that works for him. Do I think Tannehill should be your main I don't think he's a quarterback that should be your main focus. I don't think he's a quarterback that can carry a team. I think he's a quarterback that does enough and can play slightly above average. We saw that in Miami, and now we see it in Tennessee. I think the only difference is now that he has Derrick Henry, and then he had A.J. Brown, and then not this year, but last year had Corey Davis as well on the other side, and now he's been replaced with Julio to just chuck it down the field. And granted, he has a very accurate deep ball, and it works. But... yeah. It's going to be tough. You can tell he's shaking in his boots, bro. Like, I don't know if he's like, shit, now they're going to have to rely on me, which this was going to happen. And at the end of the day, no matter how big and strong Derrick Henry is, he's still a running back and he takes fucking hits. He's going to get injured. It's just a matter of when, not a matter of if.
And that's a tough injury with it being the foot, because obviously his main job is a running back. So I think he tore his fifth metatarsal or something. So,
do you think they still make the playoffs? Do you think it's just a crash and burn? Like, I mean, they pretty much running away with the division right now. I mean, second place is the Colts 3-5. And then you obviously have Jags and Houston. So
the next couple games they play at the Rams, and then they play New Orleans at home. That's going to be two tough games, but they play Houston, the Patriots, Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, Miami. They play Houston again. They got a pretty
extremely easy schedule. So but Ryan Tannehill's lucking out, man. He's lucking out.
Next 2 weeks are going to be tough. I don't know if they pull out these next two games, but definitely the rest of the schedule to week 18 is. I
mean, they drop these next two games. They're still 6-4. They should win 4 more games.
Yeah.
And who's to say Adrian Peterson can't fucking rattle off a couple good games? I mean, it seems to be that's all they really need from him. And then obviously, hopefully, you can get Julio back soon if he's not already coming back this week.
No.
But
so to answer your question, I think they make the play. I think they make playoffs for the division.
I think
how far they go, I don't.
I think they're out. I think they're out the wild card. They only make it because they're in a shit division. Honestly, Titans ended up before Derrick Henry. They're actually playing a lot better than I thought they would be. I did not think they'd be 6-2 right now coming into the season. But yeah, and then it's also a matter of if that defense can hold up. I know they are improved from last year, but will it be enough? Who knows?
We shall see. So let's end the week how we always do. NFL predictions for week 8.
Yeah.
You have the lines. We're just gonna run through.
Gabe, do you have the record?
All right, I have the record for this week. I didn't update it for last week. I know. Julie,
whatever the last time we just did it. You saying a lot when it was just me and you last episode. You don't have that.
I have them here, but I didn't select which ones won. I can get it to you by the end of the show. I just forgot to do it.
Come on, Gabe. People got to trust us. If we have shit records, they shouldn't listen to us. If we have good records, they should listen to us.
Out of the predictions,
a really quick, just to make a small point. In Florida, sports betting is officially legalized, but there's a caveat: only through the Hard Rock app. But is official. I downloaded my Hard Rock Sportsbook app this week, so I can officially sports bet legally in the state of Florida. And if you're in the state of Florida and you want to sports bet, if you download the Hard Rock Sportsbook app, they are giving you $100 for free, risk-free $100 to bet on anything you want this coming week. So make an account. Gabe left to Texas where they don't have legalized sports gambling.
No betting at all. Nothing.
No betting at all. I'm sure you can bet on ponies out there, but
no, nothing. No
really,
yeah,
surprising. But nevertheless, yeah, I'm actually super pumped that I might actually hit some of these lines this week because I got a free $100. So let's. What were you saying, Gabe? Though with the records.
I'll bring in the records. Last time when it was all three of us, JoJo, Gabe, and me, or JoJo, Gabe, Julian, Gabe, and JoJo. Julian and JoJo were tied for 16. I had 14 wins, so I was a little bit lower. But we're all a bit right there
for the total. For the total of the season.
Yeah. I still have to calculate last week's, but I'll get that to you. But let's go into this.
Yeah, don't worry about the full season. Maybe just we'll get the week, and then we'll just go from there. See how well we did each week. But game tonight, Thursday night football. We got the New York Jets at Indianapolis Colts. Gabe, who are you taking? Oh wait, but the spread is -10.5 for the home dogs, Indianapolis Colts.
I think I'm surprised because the Jets actually won last week, so that was a little bit surprising. I thought there was a shoe-in for I forget
what's the dude's name? Mike White. Guy leads the NFL for week 8 in passing yards. You see one guy bet $1,000 on him to lead the week in passing yards, and he won $120,000.
Oh wow, that's nuts.
And the state of New Jersey is fucking insane.
So for this game, Jets at the Colts. I think the Colts win, but I don't think they cover that 10-point spread. So I'm gonna go Jets. What?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Mike White. Who the fuck knows with this guy? Maybe he's the fucking truth. Maybe he plays well. I don't trust Indianapolis to hold their line. Carson Wentz looks like he's always on the verge of fucking being out for the season. So yeah, I'll take the Jets to at least get within 10.5, but the Colts will win. Anyways, we're going to go off to the Boo Boo Bowl of the week. Houston Texans at the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins are -5.5.
-5.5 at home. I think that's generous. I'll take the
generous,
Dolphins.
Honestly.
I'll take the Dolphins by two field goals.
Are you being a homer right now?
I mean, I'm a sad homer.
No, I'm with you, bro. Fins up. I think they take 5.5. Houston is terrible, and I think Tyrod Taylor's still not back, and they're at home. I will say Tua doesn't look terrible. He actually looks pretty good. Not bad.
He's had a couple good games this last couple of weeks. It's just
the team is just not good. Yeah. And he's not stellar enough to get him out of there. We got Denver at Dallas. Dallas is -9.5 at home. That is a tough one. Is Teddy playing? Is Teddy hurt? I haven't been keeping up with the.
I don't think he's playing. He wasn't playing. Let me see. I don't think he's playing.
Shit, it's not saying. Teddy Bridgewater. Try to see it because if Teddy's playing, oh shit. Yeah, I think he's gonna play. I'm gonna take. I'll take. Fuck, this is hard. That's a big spread for Dallas. Minus 9.5.
9.5.
I'll take Denver plus 9.5
to cover.
Yeah, I'll take. I'll take them to
win the completely.
No, not to win. I think they take the 9. I think they get within 9.5. I think Dallas doesn't cover.
I'm gonna go the opposite. I think 10 points. I think Dallas. This is going to be a tough game. I think this is pretty good game.
They got a good defense, and that's what scares me with teams with high spreads. We should really for next week just to put out that we should I should pull up stats to see teams' records against the spread because that will give us a huge indication on
okay.
I want to do that next week so I can see like what Denver is against the spread if they're like 2-5 or whatever the fuck it is. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna pick Dallas to pull away. I think they're overwhelming. I think Dallas is really good this season. It makes me sad to say Dallas is good, but I think they're good. I'm gonna pick Dallas 10+.
Okay. Now we got Minnesota at Baltimore. Baltimore is -6.5. I will take Minnesota with the +6. I'm been picking underdogs, bro.
Wow.
I'm picking pluses. Minnesota's good, man. I think people sleep on them. They're not great, but they're good. They're solid. I think they can make a wild card.
This should be a fun game. I'm gonna go with Baltimore.
Mind you, the line is leaning towards Minnesota +6.5, -106 versus Baltimore's -114. So
I'm going Baltimore.
We got New England at Carolina. New England is the favorites, -3.5 as the away team.
-3 at away. God. I mean,
Carolina fell apart, bro. They were looking hot, and then they completely fell apart. Sam Darnold got benched. I'll take New England. I'll take that 3.5.
Yeah, I'll take that.
I think they win by like 4. I can see that happening. All right. Okay. We got Buffalo Bills at Jacksonville. Buffalo Bills -14.5 as the away team.
Oh yeah, give me that Buffalo.
14.5.
Listen, we had this conversation last week. Okay, let's talk about this. Last week, they're supposed to play Seattle, and you came out here. You said, "Oh, this is ridiculous. This betting line is the most egregious error since I don't know." And what did I tell you, man? I said it's tough to go on the road. When Jacksonville goes on the road, they got to go on the West Coast. They got to go to Seattle. That's always tough. You got that jet lag. Whatever, and they got mollywopped. What was the end of the score? Because I just tweeted when it was the third quarter. What was the end of the score? I know it's 24-0 at the third end of the third.
30, I think 37-7. I think something like that. I will say this. I think that game, just to briefly just talk, like they lost that game because of just absolute abysmal coaching and then players just missing their assignments like that. There was no reason. Our team was just as talented as Seattle. Seattle's not a good team. Let's get that straight. Seattle, like talent wise and what their roster is, they're not a great team and they shouldn't have beat us that bad. The same thing in Houston, like week 1, like we shouldn't have lost that bad to Houston. That was just like one of those games where shit just kind of fucking hits the fan. You know what I mean? But anyways,
I told you last week. I told you Seattle was going to win. So what do you got? Buffalo -14.5.
No, I will actually, and this is not me being a homer at all. I'll take Jags +14.5. The line is leaning. The line is leaning towards the Jags, anyways. -108 versus -12. I think they bounce back. You're at home. They had a rough outing in Seattle. I think they lose, but they get within 14 for sure. I think they lose by 10.
All right, we shall see. I think it's going to be one of the worst blowouts. All right, what's next?
It's Cleveland at Cincinnati. Cincinnati is -2.5 as the favorite.
Wow. They got it closer than what I would have thought.
I am taking Cincinnati. Well, and the line's leaning towards Cincinnati with -106 versus Cleveland is -114.
I'll take Cincinnati as well. I think they're not injured.
And they're at home. And I think they're going to want to bounce back after that tough loss against the Jets.
I like their core. I told you, I like their receiving core. So we shall see.
Atlanta at New Orleans. New Orleans is -6. Atlanta is +6. This is a tough one for me, honestly. Because I mean, Atlanta's not the worst team in the league like you're thinking. I mean, they're not great, but I mean, they're 3-4, honestly. I mean, they're not like
the Saints they just beat the Buccaneers.
I know, but Atlanta can't put up points. Like you can't forget that. Like, and then you got to worry about garbage time. I'll take New Orleans -6. Line's leaning that way. Yeah, I'll take New Orleans -6.
All right, I'm taking New Orleans as well.
I will say I wouldn't be surprised if Atlanta gets within 6. I don't think they win, but I think they can get with. I think it's possible, but I'll take New Orleans if I had to put money on it. All right, Las Vegas at New York. Las Vegas is -3 as the favorites, and I will take Vegas at -3, even missing Henry Ruggs, who did something absolutely stupid.
Yeah, I think that's a huge loss for their roster.
That is a big loss for them. I mean, that was a future piece he was supposed to be. And he was fast. He could take the top off the defense. Like he was a serious threat for them. And it's tough to see that go.
He might have ended his career. But I'll take Las Vegas. Las Vegas over the Giants.
Yeah, same. I'll take that. We got Los Angeles Chargers at Philadelphia Eagles. Chargers are -2.5. Give me that -2.5. Even though the line is dead even, I think, man, they're giving a lot of benefit to the doubt to the. They're giving. My God, I can't speak right.
The Eagles.
They're giving the Eagles a lot of credit right now. Honestly, I don't know what to make of the Eagles. I feel like one day they get blown out, the next day they like put up a shit ton of points. I don't understand them, but the Chargers are a better team. Despite the fact that they lost, they should win. And -2, I think, is a little close. Honestly,
yeah, closer than I would have thought. I'm taking the Chargers.
And the line's even on it too, which is a little surprising. All right. We got wow, okay. Oh shit, I know why actually. Okay. Green Bay at Kansas City. Kansas City is -7.5. That is due because Aaron Rodgers is out this Sunday with the COVID list.
What's the spread? What's the line?
-7.5. Shit. I don't trust Kansas City to cover for jack shit. Got Jordan Love coming in there. And you're at Kansas City.
Listen, man, Green Bay, I don't know who the fuck. I know they got Devontae Adams, but that's the only player I can name.
Got Aaron Jones, who's been fucking balling, bro. Alan Lazard's coming back. You lose Robert Tonyan, which is a big loss in the tight end
They
room.
are just banked. It's like, I don't even know, man. I don't even know how Aaron Rodgers went the week before. But
they pound the rock with Aaron Jones, which is what I kind of expected this game. I think I'll take Green Bay +7.5. I think they're going to pound it with Aaron Jones, and as long as Aaron Jones stays healthy, and all they got to do is just replicate what they did last week against Arizona when they were missing Devontae Adams and Lazard and another receiver I can't remember. Just pound it, bro. Just pound the fucking rock. I think you get within 7.5. I never trust Kansas City on spreads. Never trust Kansas City on spreads. They are awful against the spread.
Well, that's where I disagree with you this week. I'm taking Kansas City to win at home. They've been having weird games.
You'll take 7.5.
7. I got them winning by 9 points at least.
Okay. This is going to be the closest game of the week. We got Arizona at San Francisco. San Francisco is -1.
What?
I will take Arizona as the road dogs to win the game and the +1 and the spread.
Yeah, I think Arizona's really good. Yeah, I'll take Arizona as well.
I think that line's going to move to like 1.5 or 0.5. I think that line, there's no way they're going to keep it on a stagnant one like that. I think it's going to move. But yeah, I'll take Arizona and I'll take the money line on that. That's a +102 versus a -120 to San Francisco. But San Francisco has been playing not too bad, but I like Arizona, man. Arizona's the real deal.
I like Arizona. All right. Is that it?
No. 2 more. Tennessee at Los Angeles Rams. Los Angeles Rams are -7.5. Tennessee is +7.5. I will take the Rams at home with the 7.5 with no Derrick Henry. Who's to say what that Tennessee team will look like? I love Adrian Peterson. He's a legend, but there's no way they're winning that game. I'll take Los Angeles.
I'll take the Rams as well. I think they're more cohesive right now.
Yeah, a more talented team. And the Monday Night Football, we have Chicago Bears at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh is -6. And
-6.
Give me the Bears +6. I'm taking a lot of dogs today, man. I'm taking a lot of pluses. I like them though.
Man, Pittsburgh is so talented, but Roethlisberger is trash. He should have retired 5 seasons ago. -6. Dude, they covered their points.
He thinks he's Tom Brady, bro. He could play till 45. But Roethlisberger, you are not Tom Brady.
Man, you know what? I'm taking a lot of favorites. You taking all the dogs. I'm taking all the favorites. I think I stick with Pitt. I think Pitt wins this.
+6. -6. Okay. Yeah, I took a lot of pluses right there, man. A lot of dogs.
I think they win by a touchdown. All right. Is that it for the week?
That's it for the week. And Gabe
that's it
is going to have a record. Gabe is going to have a record next week. First and foremost.
I will have it. I'm going to do it right now at the show. But that's it for our week. That's it for the show. We'll be back. Jill's going to bring you all the NHL news from the Panthers. Like I said, very exciting this weekend. UFC, MLB is over. We got the NBA, NFL. It's all happening. We'll all discuss it right here. Real Fans Podcast on all of things. Instagram, Twitter. Our Instagram's blowing up pretty good. Our YouTube is also blowing up pretty good. So we appreciate y'all for that, for checking us out.
Appreciate all the brand new subscribers to the channel. I know we got a good amount of subscribers, like 15 plus subscribers this past. So hopefully keep up the good work. Hopefully you guys share it. And yeah, shout out to you guys for subscribing.
Yeah, so thank you all for listening. Appreciate y'all. Real Fans Podcast on all the things. And we'll be back next week. Peace.
Peace.